Hey everybody, so I've got the rack built. We've got a 8-shot 62mm Pro shell rack, and we've got a 1/2-inch plywood rail here. It's 3 inches wide. Down on the bottom we have OSB 1/2-inch plywood rail that is also 3 inches wide, and we have 3/4 inch spacer blocks here. And we also put them on the ends. I see a lot of rack designs where the end doesn't have a spacer, but that is just as important. If your catastrophic failure were to occur in this shell, you'd want that room for energy displacement. And I've got OSB board down on the bottom here instead of the plywood, because if there were a catastrophic failure in the bottom of one of these tubes, it would shatter just this portion of the OSB, versus if this was plywood and the explosion occurred, it could shatter the entire thing, or at least multiple. So the hope is that it will keep the rack somewhat together at the bottom. And I've left about 1/8 of an inch room to breathe for these. So the entire width here is 33 inches. Square width for the shell here is 2 7/8 inch. We also want to ensure that these boards aren't too big. I've got about, if you can see here, 1.5 inches from the bottom plate, which is a solid 2x4, cut to 2 7/8 inch wide. And that 1.5 inches is going to allow stability for the shell, but we don't want it to be too high. So we want this all nice and open as much as we can. So if there were a failure in the shell, it's not going to blow out the board. Okay, so I went to Home Depot and I've got 1/2 inch thick, 2 foot by 4 foot sheet of plywood here. And then I've got also 1/2 inch thick, 2 foot by 4 foot OSB board here. So these are gonna be the top rails and these are gonna be the bottom rails, as you can see in the rack there. So we've got our frame here, and we've cut 2 pieces of OSB at 3 inches wide and 2 pieces of 1/2 inch plywood at 3 inches wide and 33 inches long. So we will do the plywood on the top, OSB on the bottom. Okay, so we got it built. Looking good. Let's test it out and see how it goes. So there she is. All right, we got our racks built. Got 6 8-shot racks and 3 3-shot racks. What's up, Pyro crew? Hey, if you like this content, please consider subscribing.